Hi, my name is Melissa Clark, and I'm the founder of the She Shift. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Vandana Atara Nora, who is the founder of Vandana Light Healing. Vandana is an energy healer, soul guide, and spiritual teacher. And she's also a healing recording artist, speaker, and host of her own podcast, Adult Child in Recovery. So today we're going to learn a little bit more about what Vandana does and her mission with Vandana Light Healing. So thank you very much for joining
Thank
today.
you. Thank
And
you so much.
and we'll start off by asking you, what does your work consist of and what is your mission with Vandana Light Healing?
My mission is to empower as many souls as possible, as many hearts as I can reach on the planet. It's really about self-empowerment and really moving out of the 3D paradigm, which was all about the guru, all about giving your powers away or like not trusting your own intuition and like bypassing and mistrusting what your higher guidance is. So this is the age, more of the age of Aquarius instead of Pisces. So my mission has always been to help people or encourage people to know that all the gifts are inside. So it's just a question of remembering what you already know. So that is my mission statement. Yeah, especially for empaths. That means like highly sensitive people who tend to absorb other people's energy, So this is also another niche or another specialty that's in my heart that I'd love working with people like myself who have grown up being called, oh, you're too sensitive for your own good and things like that. Because, being an empath is actually a gift, and you just have to learn how to navigate that part so you don't wind up absorbing like a sponge everybody else's energy and not knowing what's yours and what's not, like what belongs to you and what doesn't. So, yeah.
Wonderful. And can you tell us about your sessions and programs and what you
Mhm.
offer and what makes them unique as well as your unique approach?
I feel like because I combine a little bit of everything, shamanism, Reiki, and also energy psychology, a little Buddhism, a little Sufism, all based on my own experience. As it all comes down to just customizing. It's not a one size fits all cookie cutter, one and done way that I work with people. It's really an unwinding or an unraveling. And um, and so I tend to customize or I create my own type of session. It's not just one thing that I offer people. And a lot of it has to do with the inner child, has to do with how can we accept all of the parts of ourselves that we've denied, and how can we like move forward and actually become more comfortable in our own bodies and get to know and appreciate our gifts, the gifts that we came in with. How can we nurture those gifts? So each session is going to be completely different. We meet on Zoom. Each session is around an hour. Sometimes we go deep depending on the person's readiness, depending if you have a background in Reiki or just any kind of therapy. But it's really from the bottom up and the top down, meaning that we have a look at reprogramming negative thinking as well as uh, unwinding any blocks in our bodies, right? So we want to really like validate our feelings and emotions. We don't want to ignore our thoughts or our belief system. So it's a combination of top down and bottom up. The programs are very extensive. I go into all types of um, important information so people can practice and empower themselves at home on the replays.
That's wonderful. And then can you talk a little bit about your grounding techniques, breath work, visualization, and mindfulness meditations?
Yeah, having a Buddhist background for like the last 15 or 20 years, mindfulness, staying in the present moment is the only tool that will actually keep us sane, aware, and conscious. So we don't act out. We're not reliving the past or in regret of the past, but we're also not in fear, anxiety, or worry about a future that will probably never play out. So it's getting out of our heads and being in our heart space. So that's really the most important thing. And grounding in our bodies, feeling safe and anchored, anchoring in universal life force energy or the divine light that surrounds us, that protects us, that overlights us, helping people to find their spirit guides, their allies, their protectors so they don't feel as alone.
Wonderful. And can you tell
Yeah.
us about your certifications that you have? I know you have quite a few. And then
Yes.
what sessions or programs would they correlate with?
I have a mediumship program that I wanted to share with everybody about because everyone comes to me and they say like, "Oh, can you open my third eye?" And it's like, "Well, how far do you want to go, or how wide do you want to open your ajna chakra, right? Because we don't want it to be too open, because we might not be able to handle that. But I think like it, I love teaching people how to nurture, how to enhance their psychic, their clairvoyant abilities, their telepathy. So I have a lot of courses in that. And also, always really being born a psychic and born into a very psychic family. This is something that I feel is very important so that, um, we're aware of the energies that surround us, and also we can access our own Akashic records. So I have Akashic record certifications, I have Reiki certifications, my own accelerated light healing certifications, but it's more about like helping people to master the gifts that they were born with, right? Whether you want to become a clearer channel or a medium or an energy healer, you want to work on yourself, because a lot of my clients are caregivers as well as empaths. It's really important to make healing our number one priority and to put our needs first instead of last. So I have tons of programs and sessions to really, again, to reparent the inner child, because that's where the trauma began.
Mm,
And unless we're willing to revisit the past, it's almost impossible to really change our future.
that makes sense, definitely. So,
Yeah,
and what is the correlation between pain relief and trauma?
they're connected. Everything is interrelated, right? So if we don't address or resolve the hidden pain, our hidden pain points that we tend to bury, deny, ignore, refuse, deny, all of those things, then we're not going to make spiritual progress. We're not going to be able to uh, be the invitation for something greater, to really receive all of the blessings, the magic, and the miracles that we all deserve, that we're all like, that's our birthright. The physical pain and what's underneath it, right? We don't examine what's underneath the the pain, the wounds, and that's all going to be like the emotional root cause, like what's the imbalance, what hasn't been handled yet? Where do you still carry all this pain and stress and tension in your body? And
Mm,
so it's really important to offer techniques with breath work, with meditation, with all different types of with just asking the right questions, because most people are unaware that they're still carrying these wounds in their body from childhood and even before, from even the first 9 months being in utero in the womb. So a lot of these are mother wounds, these are cords, these are attachments that we really help to unravel in each session and program.
it's really interesting. So thank you for clarifying that. And then can you talk a little bit about your gifts and what programs can assist others in identifying their gifts?
Really, any of the programs and the sessions, whether it's an attunement, whether that is you feeling the need to quit your 9 to 5 job and to like step into your powers as an energy healer because you know that you're naturally gifted, you're intuitive, you know how to just help people. People come to you all the time with their problems, and you know that you can hold space for people to heal. And I have a lot of those programs. I've helped tons of people to quit their 9 to 5, or at least to gradually kind of taper off the hours and maybe not, dive off the diving board and just do this full time, but working from home. I have courses to help people to work with clients and to, connect with the right people who need your help, whether it's on Zoom in person or your neighbor that's really having a hard time or your child. So all of that is on my website, vandanalighthealing.com. And also, it's about healing the divine feminine, empowering the divine feminine, the return of the divine feminine, so the goddess, right? And our divine feminine true nature, and balancing and harmonizing the feminine and the masculine qualities in our bodies. That's really important. I have a goddess membership to help people to feel more sovereign, whether you're a man or a woman, as long as you honor and celebrate the goddess and her qualities of patience, of softness, but also of strength. All of that is also on the website. And that's I'm just inviting people to step into this relaxing, peaceful home away from home, the sanctuary where people can gather. We can all gather together online without even having to leave your home. So I hope people will check that out as well. It's called the Sovereign Goddess Sanctuary, and it's on my website on the homepage.
Wonderful. Thank you for providing that information as well. And I love
Of
that you
course.
formed this group and talking about the divine feminine and, again, um, recognizing within ourselves, empowering ourselves. And not only that, but also having a group to support us in doing that. Because
Exactly.
sometimes we need that support to really, hone in on
Yes.
our own strengths. And so that's really great to hear about the group.
And now more than ever before, we need to
Yes.
do that. We need to gather together, to come together in unity and community, to speak our truth, to just vent, to feel heard, to be witnessed and seen, supported and soothed in a really nurturing, compassionate, non-judgmental community, you
Yeah.
know, and we're all here to uplift each other. And that's why it's so important. For us to at least meet monthly. And this membership has lots of perks like free Akashic readings, to kind of rewrite your soul records if things aren't working out for you. And just in healing Reiki, just you don't have to do anything except lie down and be open to receive Reiki every month. And lots of discounts and bonuses. So and the reason I do this is to make healing affordable, because I know a lot of people they're not placing their healing as a priority. It's kind of at the bottom of the list instead of the top of the list. So I wanted to just create a space, a program where people don't have any obstacles around treating themselves to energy healing, to spiritual healing, because we have to step into our power now more than ever before, because the world is really a scary place these days. So,
Well, that's
and we
wonderful.
need each other. We can't
It's true.
ascend alone, right? We definitely need each other. So, yeah,
Definitely.
thank you for asking.
Yes. So I guess a follow-up to the question. So what is your approach to helping empaths heal and find their gifts?
Yeah, it's just like sitting in a very sacred space, listening, deeply listening, and um, getting to know people on a very personal, intimate level, because what I offer is not generic. It's not one size fits all. Everyone is so different. Everyone has such a different background and history. So that's why I customize all of the ways that I work with people based on them. So it's not about me. It's about my clients, it's about my students, it's about what they really need, even if they don't actually know or aren't aware of what they need in the moment. And just whether it's online or in person, Reiki is something that you can, it's not only about learning how to use the symbols, because I do have an Egyptian Reiki class coming up soon called Ahara Reiki, and you can find that on my website. It's not only about that, it's about embodying the spirit, the love, the kindness, the peace, and the universal life force energy of what Reiki is in our everyday reality. And so, yeah, I hope that answers your question as well.
That's great. No, it's really good to understand, again, a little bit more about, um, you know,
Yeah,
programs and, the modalities and what they are. And I know that, people can find that information on your website, which we'll talk a little bit more about at the end. But I think it's really good because a lot of this may be new to people. They may not have ever heard of
absolutely. I
Reiki
welcome
or,
all the
yeah.
newbies. All the newbies come and check me out, because
Sure.
I find that people who are new to the world, of the healing arts or energy healing are actually, the most trusting and the most open,
Mm.
open-minded, open-hearted, and they really absorb the information because they've never experienced it. And once you have a session, you can tell, like, you'll immediately feel shifted and uplifted and lighter and just more spacious and expanded, right? And so your whole day, the trajectory of your whole day can really change where you're in the flow,
Mhm.
right? So that's really important. So I welcome everyone. And this is really different because I also offer follow-up sessions. So I don't disappear after we have a course together or a session. I'll send you follow-up emails to check in with you, to remind you to check in with yourself. And that's really important too. And I notice even in my own experience when I was first learning in 2007 how to become a Reiki master teacher, once the course was over, I felt, and I've taken so many certifications like access consciousness and, alchemical hypnotherapy and all of these types of, modalities, like you said. I felt like once the course was over, and I paid for it. Like, a lot of these people weren't in my life anymore as mentors because I want to be in your life like for the long run, right? So that's why I have a lot of apprentices and mentors that I work with. And again, I try to keep my pricing really affordable. So no excuse, right, to heal yourself and also your ancestors.
That's true. No, it's great. Great information. And I love that
Yeah.
follow up with people. And I do. I think that's really important. And because like you said, a lot of times, this is a process. So, it's people take the
Yes.
initial step and then
Yeah.
it's something to, build on within themselves and that self-care. So I think that's wonderful.
And that's a great point you just brought up, Melissa, that, yeah, it's not going to happen overnight because there are so many layers that we have to unravel and explore together in a very curious, very gentle, very safe and non-invasive way, a very compassionate way, where you getting to know and welcome the good parts and the parts of you you label as the bad or the ugly parts that you hide from the world, like your shadows,
Mhm.
right? So we want to honor both the light and the shadow. And, and also to provide like this safe refuge, a safe place, um, so I can be your safe person.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's really important too, because, I think, like with any other relationship, whether it's a therapist and you're the client, or whether it's a healer, you're the client, or vice versa, or, it's a friendship or a work relationship, relationships take time to build that trust, that level of trust where you could feel like you can open up and you won't be judged. And I have tons of testimonials on my website about that. So
wonderful.
everyone deserves to have a safe person, whether they're a professional healer or just like a next door neighbor. But we all need that because we can't keep all those burdens inside of ourselves because that's not good for our mental health and well-being, obviously.
Yes, exactly. So, and then what can people expect from a session or group program? I know you touched on it a little bit, but what can they?
Yeah. Just I always am a firm believer that knowledge is power. And because I teach so many chakra um, clearing courses, and how to clear like the front and the back of our chakras, and what are the repressed emotions behind the chakra imbalance and all that, it's important to know like what a chakra is. You know, how do you harmonize all your chakras? How do you align with the divine? How do you heal yourself? How do you connect with your spirit guides? How do you contact your higher self, right? How do you awaken your inner healer? All those qualities. This is, this is really important. And that's all covered in my courses, right? Because we're not born knowing this
Right.
information. Nobody is teaching us how to heal ourselves or how to care for ourselves or how to meditate,
Right,
or at
exactly.
least most families that I know of. So, so I like to set up a stage where we kind of go over all the information you could feel. And most people report, again, this is all the testimonials are on my website, hundreds of them. Most people feel, most people report feeling more relaxed, more open, more trusting, more positive, less mental noise or chaos here, more quiet and peaceful, more still. You're able to sleep better, get more work done, be more productive. And also just, yeah, I think it's feeling more hopeful for the future and feeling like a burden has been lifted.
Mm.
Yeah. And
So many
more.
great
There are
benefits.
so many,
Yes.
so many more like benefits, right? I mean, it's going to be different for everyone, right?
Sure. Exactly. Exactly. And that's a good point too. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and I think that, a great segue into, learning more about your information and your website. And I know you have a lot of great information on your website. And I think, that's important to have a space or a place where people can, learn more, read more. As I said, learning about a little bit more about your programs. So just tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about, where to find that information and a little bit about
Sure.
your website and what information you have on there.
Absolutely. I also have a podcast, by the way, which is the adult child podcast, moving away from insanity from the past into serenity. So you could watch that on my website, as well as get a better idea about my work and my own life history and what brought me into the healing world, and how I was able to hear and follow the calling to do this work, to take a leap of faith, because it wasn't easy moving from that 3D 9 to 5 world into being my own boss, working for myself. But that's all on my website. So I have tons of summits where I was a guest speaker as well. And then I have it kind of, you can find like different types of sessions that I offer. We always work together on Zoom. Some are remote, like Reiki. Most of them are 1 hour sessions, and you can choose packages as well. And then I have like training programs, certification training programs, where you can find different types of programs like the mediumship, how to become an Akashic reader, how to become a galactic light healer, and how to send souls to the light, the earthbound ones, right, that are troubled, that because being a sensitive empath, you might attract them. All of those programs, the sessions, the courses, the individual transmissions are all on my website. And so you could take a look, because it's really fascinating. And I think I've covered pretty much all the bases. So if you're curious, definitely check out vandanalightshealing.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. This has been great. It's really, again, good to know, what your work consists of and your mission and all of the great services and programs that you're providing to really help and empower people, help heal people. And, I think it's a lot of great information here and on your website and on your social media channels, which I know you can also find on your website as well.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think that's great. Your Facebook, Instagram, I know YouTube, everything's listed.
YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's, great, as you said, great resource for people to go to and really listen
Yeah.
to some of your work and hear some of the sessions and information that you have on there, because
Yes,
everything, all of that, it's really I feel like it's very therapeutic, very helpful, and it just, gives not only greater knowledge to what some of the things are that you're doing, but again, just even like for me watching, one session of your work and one of your videos, it's really, it's really, like I said, I think it's very therapeutic and just very
it
relaxing. It
is.
has a lot of great benefits to it. So, I definitely encourage people to go and visit your website and your social and take a look around and learn more, and also look
Yeah,
into, your Sovereign Goddess Sanctuary group, because again, this isn't
absolutely.
just about people helping themselves. It's about, working with others to have that support system, to do that as well. So I just think, what you're offering is really amazing in so many ways. And
Thank
it's
you.
it's really good. And it's, just talking to you and learning more. I think people can really become educated in who you are
Yeah.
and what Vandana light healing is, and what not only,
Yes.
what it means to you, of course, but really what it means to the world and everybody who can benefit from it. So I
Thank you,
really,
Melissa.
yes, I really appreciate your time. And, again, I just encourage everybody to visit your website and your social pages, and learn more about Vandana light healing, because, you just never know what, is available really for yourself that
And
could be helpful.
one more thing, if I may, there's also a Calendly link on my homepage, Vandana Light Healing. So I'd love to get to know you. I'd love to, if you're watching this now, love to hear what's going on for you. Where are you struggling? What are your pain points? Because really, Reiki has a solution for everything, whether you're struggling with body image, self-esteem, addictions, um, chronic stress, anxiety, because who wants to go on medications, right? If you don't have to, if you could work with, in the realm of nature, right? Holistic natural healing that's been around for thousands of years. This is ancient, it's not new, and it's definitely not woo-woo, right? So it's something that everyone can benefit for. And when you show up as your best, then everyone in your life will also treat you differently, and it can heal your relationships if you are caught up in codependent or toxic relationships as well. And I realize also that it's, not so easy to make a choice, because there are a ton of people that do something maybe similar to what I do. And that's why I want to meet you for a 15-minute free consultation. It's called a discovery session. And the link is there on the homepage. So I
Wonderful.
think that's the best way to get started. And I can also make recommendations just after a few minutes. Just do an energy scan on you, and I'll be able to tell you what's missing, what's lacking, what might work for you, what might not work for you, and just give you a more clear direction on which way to move forward and get unstuck on your healing path, on your healing journey.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Vandana, and we all look forward to
Thank
learning
you.
more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Melissa. It was a joy being with you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
You too.
Bless you.